I was told by my mentor that once when you become public person, sooner or later you will need to face firing squad. Not literally, but firing squad from armchair heroes, leaders, and those who knows all behind screen, of course. So the best way to face firing squad is to talk facts, real and documented evidence, rather per se. After all, speaking the truth is much easier than to share opinion. So, you want to know the truth? I was one of them. I was one of them. One of the millions scrolling, searching, consuming, reading books, watching videos, listening to podcasts, hoping for answers, hoping someone out there had the roadmap. I survived the war. I spent my life in intelligence, investigations, and security operations around the world. And still, I bought into it. Because even with everything I've seen, even with all the battles I fought, I was a human. And humans, we want hope. We want direction. We want someone to tell us, do this and your life will change. But what if that advice you trust isn't theirs to give? Hear me again. What if advice you trust, me and everybody else, isn't there to give? Today, we are not pointing fingers. We are pulling back curtains. This is not an episode about blame. It's about warning. Who are you listening to? And more importantly, who are the people telling you how to live? Because if you're not careful, you're not just buying inspiration, you're buying someone else borrowed the truth. Absolutely. Let me take you back. In front of me, I have a bag, McDonald's bag and cheeseburger inside. And I want to share a story with you about cheeseburger. When we're talking about truth. For those who don't know, I grew up in Yugoslavia. I was boy living under communism. Not options, no freedom, just a gray wall of control. And then, moment. A friend of mine handed me my first McDonald's cheeseburger. Not just a snack, it was revelation. You know what it tastes like? I need to open for you this beautiful cheeseburger. So in 1988, this cheeseburger was looking bigger. And when my friend handed it to me, it tasted like America. It tasted like freedom. That's how that cheeseburger tasted. It tasted like a dream. It tasted like a freedom. For the first time, I believed, 1988, anything was possible. Work hard, learn from the best, follow the right steps, and you too could rise. But now, that same cheeseburger tastes different. Processed, packaged, profitable. And let me tell you something else as well. When I tasted that burger in 1988, 3 years later, I went in a war for freedom, for democracy, believing that that taste of freedom to cheeseburger, it's the way to go. But today, that cheeseburger tastes different. Processed, packaged, profitable. Just like most self-help advice today. And that brings me to what this episode it is really about. It is not about the cheeseburger. It's about the truth. I want you to take it very seriously, my next statement. I want you to have that feeling of that cheeseburger when you first time tried. But first, I want to welcome all of you. I want to welcome all of you to the life, the battlefield, the place where lived experience, not clickbait, drives every question we ask. In a world where everyone has a microphone, I'm here to use mine for something real, where we don't just expose deception, we dissect it. My name is Bekes. For those who don't know me, I'm the Guinness World Record holder. As well, I survived 1,800 consecutive combat days in war. My background spans military intelligence, diplomatic security intelligence, and decades of high-level investigations, interrogations, and human intelligence operation. As well, I'm the best-selling author. And everything I share with you comes from experience, not theory. Today's episode is about single poem, a powerful, vulnerable piece of writing that helped millions of people, millions, but not the woman who actually wrote it. Yeah, we're gonna talk about stolen poem. Am I disappointed? Yes, I am. But what can I say? In 2020, a poet named Cassie Phillips wrote something raw and real. A poem titled Let Them. You heard for that one? Let Them. And I'm gonna read for you just a few lines, just to remind you what she wrote. Let them walk away. Let them ignore you. Let them doubt you. Let them. It went viral across Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, shared by the many therapists, coaches, friends of friends. But her name got lost. Then came Mel Robbins, media juggernaut, podcast queen, author, speaker. She launches something called the Let Them Theory. A movement, a brand, a book. Same message, same emotional resonance, same viral impact. But not credit to Cassie. Not in the book, not in the video, not in the interviews, not once. I was looking for the Mel Robbins to find out where she says thank you, to give credit to Cassie. So not in a book, not in a video, not in an interview, not once. And that's where this goes from marketing to something, how I call this, more dangerous. That's correct. It's go to something more dangerous. But before we continue, I'd like to share with you something what I learned from Mel Robbins. The formula for profit. How to repackaging the truth. I want you to take it step 1, step 2, and if you are laying out the blueprint, this is for you. Mel Robbins has frequently described her approach as simplifying complex psychological ideas and making them accessible. Okay, let me do dissectomy. Mel Robbins has frequently described her approach as simplifying complex psychological ideas and making them accessible. Now you ask yourself, from where she's taking these, complex psychological ideas. In 2023 episode of the Mel Robbins podcast, Mel Robbins, she said this: when something works, I build a system around it. That's what I do. I teach people to reapply what's already proven. Now, in 2025, in her interview with The Times, she shared, my gift is taking really complicated psychology and make it extraordinarily simple so that people can dig themselves out of hole. She emphasized repeating that what works, organizing into the frameworks and delivering it clearly, not claiming to invent the new truths, but rather to structure and share them effectively. And that, my friends, is precisely what makes attribution so critical, that she explained following. In another keynote, she says this: you don't need to reinvent the wheel. I agree. We don't need. We have the wheel. You need to deliver it better. So she's upfront about simplifying and scaling ideas, but that's exactly what makes attribution so important. Because when repackaging becomes a brand, the line between influence and ownership begins to blur. So Mel Robbins, she admits to repackaging. And that on its own isn't a crime. Isn't. We go into school, we learn the basic things in school. So when you hear all these influencers, all these business coaches and gurus, you don't need to go in school, that's a rubbish. Because I'll tell you something else. I was the guy who didn't want to go in school. I was the guy who mothers told, don't associate yourself with Mario. I was in juvenile. You think that was a good thing? At the moment when I was a teenager was good. But then reality hits you, life hits you. You know, you go for the job. And what do you think about ask for the job? You know, how good you are with your spiritual ideas. Who is your guru? No, they ask you, what is your trade? What's your education? What's your level of experience in a working capacity? That being said, we all need to learn the basics, so you don't need to reinvent the wheel. But repackaging and portraying it's yours, that is the problem. We all learn from others. We all refine, simplify, share. But here, what the modus operandi kicks in. I want you to see how they do. There's a few steps. Step number 1, find powerful message that already resonates. Step 2, strip of its original voice. Step 3, build brand around it. Step 4, trademark, monetize, own it. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. You know why? Because you can steal somebody else's ideas. They need to live with this because people are reading the books. You know, we are not all falling for just some business guru, some coaches killing the stage where they pitch voice, you know, the selling points and everything else. If I understand and if I hear that somebody is using somebody else's idea, I'm gonna be upset. If you don't give the credit back to original person, one thing what I learned in university, it was that I need to do quoting, I need to do referencing, I need to state it, make a comments, argument, counter-argument, and list goes on. And guess what? I can't just make it my opinion because you don't make it your essence based on opinion. That's not university. That's called a life. That's called discussion in a coffee shop or maybe McDonald's. When you build a brand around my idea and you trademark and monetize as your own, then we have the problem. That's what the most of the gurus doing. Guys, you need to ask yourself, who is original creator? Who created this originally? Yes, you're guessing right. It's invisible. However, this is not plagiarism in the academic sense, but it's something more insidious. It's called emotional laundering, turning pain and poetry into product without acknowledgement. You know, I was flying recently from Gold Coast to Sydney. That's how I come across this book, Let Them. You know, it's a beautiful, I didn't want to bring here because I can't put on my desk, you know, free advertising, McDonald's and the book. But it's a green, beautiful book. It's called Let Them. I come up to page 64, 65. I couldn't read anymore because I was lost in the book itself because it was written repetition and it was written in a way that it's hard to follow. But that's like it's a lot of talking, but I can understand what they try to portray in that book, you know. So I speak generally. If you want to buy the book, buy the book. Now, when you read a book, I want you to be prepared that you're reading something what was being branded as a theory. And theory itself is not something, you know, written in stone. So, yeah, go buy the book. I want to talk about this product which is being monetized now. Let Them Theory is a book itself written by Mel Robbins. And when I bought this book, I say I'm gonna do dissectomy. So this isn't just about Mel. It's about wider, well-practiced system. And what is that? When you buy the book, and I ask this question so many times. When I was in airport, there's so many books there for the self-help, you know, the books about this, books about that, you know, the vocabulary, the titles, the colors, it's all catchy, it's all powerful for you not to buy. You can't miss those books because the title resonates with you. It's resonating with you straight away because that's how the books have been done. That's how I wrote my books as well. You know, you want a title, capture audience. And I asked myself, what book am I gonna buy? You know the best part it is? Let me ask who is the author. What this book actually it is about, I'm gonna find out when I know who is the author. So when I punch it, Let Them, well, I come across so many links that Let Them is actually being written by somebody else, not by the Mel. But as I say, this is not about Mel. Mel may be the headline today, but strategy isn't unique to her. There's a guy called Shetty. He took quotes that weren't his and posted them as original thoughts. The Guardian last year exposed over hundreds of them and curated monk backstory that simply wasn't true. You know the lady called Rachel Hollis? She parodied Maya Angelou and Brené Brown, called the empowerment and built a brand around it. Tony Robbins, oh, the man. Motivational empire built from neuro-linguistic programming and his mentor Jim Rohn. Just few mention of those roots. There's another guy called Hollis. He interviews brilliant minds, then turns their wisdom into school of greatness, solo content. Each followed a pattern. Find proven idea, simplify, rapid in personal branding, remove the source, sell it as yours, and confidence over credit. Presentation over provenance. Until now, about the system. This is what, guys, you need to understand. The question is, if you're using somebody else's work and you're portraying yourself as a guru, as a public speaker, guys, whatever book it's over there, people either gonna learn, they're gonna follow, they're gonna do something with that book because they're gonna change their life, or better or worse. I don't care. You think I wasn't in that position? I was in that position. But what I've been taught in university, you need to referencing back your sources. Argument, cut argument. And that's what upsets you when I start Googling let them. I want to share with you what Mel could and should have done. This isn't a witch hunt. This is a missed opportunity. Mel Robbins could have said, "This poem inspired me. Thank you, Cassie Phillips." One sentence, one moment of integrity, and everything would be different. Instead, we get silence. And silence in face of credit isn't complicity. Just simply say thank you. I still remember cheeseburger. I still remember that taste. Back then, it tasted like freedom. Today, it tastes like someone else's story. Rapid in marketing and sold back to us. To Cassie Phillips and every unheard voice. Let them sell. Let them trademark. Let them trend, but don't let them take your truth. This is what I want to share with you. Now, I want to close this episode on a different note. If this story moved you, share, not for clicks, but to give credit where is due. Tag a creator who deserves recognition. Show the people you respect them, their hard work, because after all, guys, I work in a world of human intelligence, and every idea starts in someone else's head. We can't all have the podcast. We can't all write the books. We talk. We love to share ideas. But don't take somebody else's idea and portray it as yours. Here at Life the Battlefield, we don't follow the gurus. We follow the truth. And truth always leaves a trail. Always. Documented evidence. Real evidence and facts. So guys, next time when you share your truth, make sure it's yours, or at least say thank you. Say thank you to those people who inspire you, people who share their idea with you how they don't have the voice in public. Yet, sometimes we need to say thank you to all of you guys who are living this life, who are sharing that energy, that wisdom, your life experiences, so others can be motivated, inspired. And I want to say thank you, all of you guys who are watching today this episode, because this episode is not witch hunt, it's not about portraying nobody, it's about giving credit back to those who deserve. You watch Life the Battlefield. Feel free to subscribe, share, like, and comment. Thank you.